Welcome, everyone. My name is Rachel Payne, and I am your new HR Director. I've been asked to implement a new system where analytics can be used to measure and improve the performance of employees and the organization as a whole. So you might be asking, what is HR analytics? HR analytics is fact-based decision-making about people and organizations. Our HR department has access to valuable employee data. HR analytics involves gathering, analyzing, and reporting that HR data. It will allow our organization to make informed decisions based on data and measure the impacts of a range of HR metrics on overall business performance. In a nutshell, HR analytics is a data-driven approach to human resources management. Common metrics measured by HR analytics include training efficiency, absenteeism, voluntary turnover rate, and time to hire, just to name a few. During this presentation, I will explain 3 analytical methods I will use to demonstrate how our company could incorporate HR analytics, when they will be used, and how we calculate the various metrics. As I previously mentioned, we have a great deal of valuable data at our disposal that can be tremendously beneficial for our organization. The first data analysis method I'll discuss is the cost of employee turnover. We can take a period of time, such as 1 year, and calculate the estimated turnover costs to the organization. From there, we can determine the estimated costs per employee who left. The basic analysis involves analyzing separation costs, the cost of replacing employees, training costs, and the uncompensated performance differential between employees who leave and their replacements. Adding those will provide the total cost of turnover. And below you will see the basic equation for that. So the total cost of turnover again will equal those separation costs, replacement costs, training costs, and performance costs. So in order to determine the total estimated cost of employee separations, first we must individually calculate separation costs, the cost of replacing employees, training costs, and performance costs. So I did not go through all of those individual calculations. However, just want you to know that the data that we do have go into an HR analytics program, which then runs the calculations for us. In this example, we can see the costs associated with each of those areas, which gives us the total amount of estimated cost of employee separations. We can see here that the largest costs are associated with replacing employees. This data analysis is critical, as the higher the employee turnover rate, the higher the costs will grow. This type of data analytics can help us find the best turnover intervention for the company. So my next example is around the cost of absenteeism. There are direct and indirect costs associated with employee absenteeism. Absenteeism costs U.S. companies billions of dollars each year in lost productivity, wages, poor quality of goods or services, and excess management time. To determine how much absenteeism could cost us per year per employee, we need to look at the costs associated with absent workers, managing absenteeism, paying substitute employees, and the reduction in quality or quantity of work. All of those must be calculated. So here's an example that shows the breakdown of the metrics needed to calculate the cost of absenteeism. Again, this is a really good example of kind of plug and play with the data. So we're going to be able to gather valuable data from our HR system to put into the analytic software, which will then again run those calculations for us. So this is a snapshot of once we put that data in to estimate the cost of absenteeism. We will put in the employee hours lost, average wage and salary per absent employee, also total compensation lost, cost of substitute employees. We're able to determine the cost of reduced quantity and quality of work. So all those go in, and then what we get is the total estimated cost of absenteeism. And then we're able to also distill that down to the total estimated cost of absenteeism per employee. So here we can see that the reduction in productivity is the biggest area that we could be impacted. in this example. So one way we could look to controlling absenteeism and using this data to help us is by offering paid time off, for example. It's a benefit and incentive for employees, and then they can manage how they use their PTO for either vacation, appointments, or sick leave. We could then evaluate the effectiveness of the program by comparing the cost of absenteeism the year before the program and yearly over a few years after the program implementation. This is an example of how we could implement a strategy and measure its effectiveness using HR analytics. One thing I was asked to do when I began was to evaluate the feasibility of starting an employee assistance program. We can use data to determine the costs and benefits of an EAP. Wellness is important to us, and we've identified that we want to find strategies to control healthcare costs. One possible way to do that is through improving employee wellness. Now, this is not a one-size-fits-all approach, it does not solve everything, but we can link wellness to support programs such as EAPs and then evaluate it. Calculate the return on investment of an EAP, first we begin with the number of employees participating in the program, how much it costs to replace and train each of those positions, and how many employees actually quit after EAP. Next, we take the potential costs and subtract the actual costs incurred, which gives us the expected benefit of the program. From there, we can calculate the ROI. In my example here, we can see there was an over 81% ROI on the EAP for that year. Using HR analytics allows us to shift from just recording and storing employee data to making informed decisions using that data and creating a business case for strategies. We're going to have problems, we're going to have challenges, and we're going to need to address those using different strategies, but we don't want to just pull things out of our hat or make decisions without having the information to make those best decisions. This is what is needed in today's data-driven economy. We need to make the data work for us and to our advantage. Using HR analytics will assist us in making decisions, better decisions, and gives us the opportunity to measure the impact of those strategies. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you found all of this information and examples beneficial and useful as we move forward, and I look forward to working together with each and every one of you.